Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. Kisumu is also fantastic, and it's actually raining heavily right now. And maybe you could let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, and whether it's also raining. When William Ruto left the country for Europe a few days ago, many Kenyans expected the country to be in problems because the absence of the president automatically means that the deputy president takes charge. And Rigathi Gachagua the next day met with the security chiefs in this country, and he shared those photos which he has actually deleted. We'll be looking at why he has deleted those photos. And then just a day to the main maandamano, Raila Odinga issued a statement. In that statement, he revealed that Rigathi Gachagua, Kimani Ichung'wah, and Ndindi Nyoro were actually meeting in some residence. I think it was at the residence of Rigathi Gachagua, and that they were planning mayhem on the day of maandamano. And indeed, on that day, several things took place. Number one, there was the raid at Uhuru Kenyatta's farm, which is forming the subject of this analysis. And then there was the raid at Spectra International, which belongs to Raila Amolo Odinga, though it was thwarted very fast. And then later, and I listened to Raila Odinga statement earlier today, there was certain fracas which took place in Kibra. A church was burnt down and a mosque was also burnt down. And Raila Odinga was explaining that the idea behind that was to set up Christian versus the Muslim, and then PCA church, which was burnt down, actually belongs to the Kikuyu. So the idea behind that was to also set up Kikuyus versus the Luos. But let us not get into that. Let us look at this gentleman called Kimani Ichung'wah. Because today, Kimani Ichung'wah responded to those allegations. But who is Kimani Ichung'wah?
Huyu mzee akitendawili kama hujui sisi, kama hujui mimi vizuri, kama hujui Kimani Ichung'wah, hujui Ndindi Nyoro, watoto wa Maumau, kwenda tafuta Uhuru Kenyatta, umuulize hiyo vijana watatu ni ya rangi gani.
No, that is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya describing who Kimani Ichung'wah is. And by the way, why are we even talking about Kimani Ichung'wah in all this issue? The truth of the matter is that 99% of Kenyans believe that the raid at Uhuru Kenyatta's farm was actually organized by the government and overseen by Moses Kuria, Kimani Ichung'wah, and Ndindi Nyoro. And Kimani Ichung'wah is being blamed because of this particular statement which he made.
Ya nani? Mtu ajaribu kugusa mali ya mtu, wajue Kenya ina serikali na hiyo mali mnajaribu kugusa iko na wenyewe. La mwisho, kwa ndugu yangu aliyekuwa rais wetu, kama unataka kuheshimiwa, heshimu wengine. Heshimu mali ya watu wengine. Usipoheshimu mali ya watu wengine, sisi wa Kenya wa hapa Mount Kenya tuko na maswali mingi ya zile mashamba kubwa kubwa mumejishikia, tukianzia na hapo Thika Road Nairobi, hapo Ruiru. Kabla hatujaenda Taita Taveta, kabla hatujaenda Nakuru, mali ya Mkenya ikivamiwa, hata hizo mashamba zenyu tutazivamia, na wenye hawana mashamba wapate mashamba Kenya hii. Musifikiri ati wananchi wa kawaida ndio watapoteza mali. Even you will pay a price if you continue to instigate violence and bloodshed in this country. And that is my message to none other than Uhuru Kenyatta, the sponsor, sole sponsor, singular financier of Azimio, and the machinery that is Raila Odinga. Kwa hayo mengi,
in this particular video, I want us to look at Kimani Ichung'wah's response. and ask him a few questions. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And I want to thank everybody who normally sent me a bit of coffee. I want to value so much. I received some from a gentleman. My phone is up there. I just can't remember the name. Thank you so much, man. Now, let us get back to the main issue. Do you think, let me just ask you this question. Do you think if, in case, the raid at Uhuru Kenyatta's residence was engineered by the state, do you think it achieved the objective, the raid at Uhuru Kenyatta's farm, in case it was organized by the government? Do you think it achieved its objective? And in case it was organized by Mount Kenya politicians, do you think it achieved its objective? Today, I watched very closely Kimani Ichung'wah, accompanied by Aaron Cheruiyot. Kimani Ichung'wah is the majority leader at the National Assembly. Aaron Cheruiyot is the majority leader at the Senate. I listened to them pensively, and I can tell you that they were talking as if they were in opposition. But in politics, two things are normally very important: the sitting arrangement I've always explained, and the body language. Now, Kimani Ichung'wah is reading the statement, but I want you to take just a few minutes and just observe the body language of Aaron Cheruiyot. What can you conclude from his body language? And then also the body language of those who are standing behind them. There is something wrong. So basically, in my view, I don't think these guys were able to achieve their objectives through the raid. It has actually backfired on them.
If the police could respond to the attack at Spectre East Africa Limited, we pose the question to Mr. Odinga and his sponsor: how comes we have not seen either the safety manager or the security manager or the hundreds and tens of policemen that guard Northlands estate? And we want to remind all Kenyans that Northlands is not home to anybody else. It is home to two former sitting presidents of the Republic of Kenya. The late Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, who is survived by a widow who is still alive, who is entitled to state security and is offered state security, to the immediate former president Uhuru Kenyatta, who is entitled and still enjoys massive state security. Indeed, if you did your investigative journalism, I suspect if there is no small barrack at Northlands, there could be a police post or a police station in Northlands. Kenyans need to ask themselves a curious question: how comes even the policemen, elite policemen who guard Northlands, were nowhere to be seen? We have not had any reports, not from the OCS of the stations around Northlands, not from the OCPD, not from the Inspector General of Police. That was a distress call to the police for backup. What coincidence is it that these attacks happened at a time the organizers knew the police had been kept busy?
Now, let us look at what Kimani Ichung'wah said very briefly. Then I ask him these questions, which I'd want you also to pay very close attention to them. So please don't leave at this stage. Kimani Ichung'wah is saying that because he's a resident of the mountain, he knows what the residents have been saying there about the first family. Kimani Ichung'wah is not new in this country, and the mountain are also not new in this country. We know that Kenyatta family have been in existence for a very long time. And we also know that apart from last election, the Kikuyu nation have always voted for the Kenyattas. In 2013, Uhuru Kenyatta was actually the anointed one. In 2017, the same Kikuyu is talking about voted for Uhuru Kenyatta 2 times. So I don't understand why he's saying that he knows what these guys are talking about. Number two, he's also saying that he was only relaying, that his statement that, oh, these people will raid the farm and take them over. He's saying he was only relaying what the residents have been saying about the Kenyattas, that they'll be raiding the homes. Now, this is an elected leader talking about raiding someone's home. And Kimani Ichung'wah is now saying that he's actually open to investigations if anyone suspects he had a role. Like, for example, personally, I suspect, Kimani Ichung'wah had some role, and therefore he believes that he has, he's now open to investigation. So in my view, I think the police should move very fast and start investigating him. And he's also saying that the police can actually access his phone, check the people he spoke to in case he was responsible for mobilizing them, and the places he visited. Let me tell Kimani Ichung'wah that Kenyans are not fools. Such operations, the only thing you would want to do is to ensure that there's no trace. So I'm sure even if you were to mobilize people, he would not use his phone. If you were to send money, he would not use his phone. Kenyans are wiser. If you were to mobilize, he can just sit somewhere in his home, have people go there, and he will be able to mobilize. So that's not the issue. The issue is he needs to be investigated. Why am I saying so? I'm saying so because there are several questions which needs to be answered. The first question is that this raid, according to the residents, was actually conducted by non-locals. Those who don't stay there conducted this raid. So the first thing Kimani Ichung'wah can do, because the locals who are there said, okay, it's true, this farm was raided, but the people who came and raided it are not locals here. We don't know them. So Kimani Ichung'wah can go ahead and help the investigative agencies by revealing the people who conducted this raid. Because as a majority leader and as someone who is in government, he has that capacity. So instead of throwing blames, let him just go and get us the locals. The second question is here, is that according to the locals, these goons met with leaders at Ruai Sewer plant before they moved to the operation area. So if you know Ruai Sewer plant, that's where they met very early in the morning. And they agreed, let us move to where we are going to operate. So they moved to where they were going to operate. So the question which, in my view, Kimani Ichung'wah should be asking is, who are these leaders who met with these goons at Ruai Sewer plant? Who are these leaders? Are they Azimio leaders? Are they Kenya Kwanza? Because if he's saying that these guys, he was not part of them and his name is being tainted, the best thing is now to investigate. The locals are giving information that these guys who came here are not locals, but before they came here, they held a meeting somewhere, and they are giving the specific place where these guys met, the Ruai Sewer plant, before moving. So he should ask himself that question. For me, the third question these guys should be asking is that according to the locals, the goons had been promised land, that you go for this operation, then we are going to give you land. So that's what they were promised before they left wherever they came from. Then when they came here, when they came near the farm, when they were ferried near the farm, they met in some hotel around there. And from that hotel, then they moved in. So the question is, who promised them land? Because you can only understand that these guys were promised land the way they operated. They came with the power saw. From there, some bought mabatis, and you could see them with the tape measures taking measurements of the plot there. They knew, because how would you come for such kind of operation with a tape measure? How would you come for such operation with a power saw? Power saw is not something you just carry. You have to buy petrol for it, find a way of carrying it. It's unlike people, let's say if they were just told to go and take animals, they'll just carry small pangas. These guys had power saw. So the question is, who promised these guys land? Because when Raila Odinga was speaking today at the same place, Raila Odinga actually gave a sample of land documents which they had actually given to these guys. Huh? Yeah. So who allocated this guy's land? Who changed the documents at the Ministry of Land? So those are some of the questions which Kimani Ichung'wah can help Kenyans with. Just come out and say, these guys came, they were brought here by these people, you know, they wanted land, someone had promised them. So for me, I've conducted my investigation and I've realized this is the guy who promised them land. And the other and the most weighty question which Kimani Ichung'wah should be able to tell Kenyans is about the police response. I listened to his clip. He was trying to justify, oh, how come they went and raided Raila office, but then there they were repulsed by the police. So the question is, and this has been collaborated, that around the area, there are almost 3 police posts. One this side, the other one this side, the other one this side. Who ordered all of them to stand down, to just let those people be? And of course, even if it was something else and the government wanted to protect their image, the best thing they could have done, in my view, was to organize a team to rush there very fast. Because we are talking of 2 former presidents, their land. So they ought to have sent people, their either reinforcement there. And the last question, which Kimani Ichung'wah should tell Kenyans, and this is based on a report which I saw today, I think was it on the Standard or in the Daily Nation, where a meeting was held at Thika Greens. That meeting was convened by Moses Kuria. That meeting was about dealing with Raila Odinga demos. Can Kimani Ichung'wah tell Kenyans what was discussed at that particular meeting? Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.